I'm Damien here with Hunter Evans to talk about his business that he's started called Hunter Evans Arts, and to showcase a little bit about his work and talk about some of the things that led to this development for him in his life. It's good to have you here, Hunter.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. It's a pleasure.
So how did you get started with Hunter Evans Arts? What was the thing that led to all of this?
Yeah, so how it all got started, so way before it was even like a business idea of like making revenue off of it, I was like just a little tiny kid and just drawing, I think as any little kid does. But I had an experience when I was probably in like first grade, I think I can trace it back that far, where I was in class and I had drawn a picture, I think it was like a dinosaur or something at the time, and my teacher pointed it out to me and she just said, hey, like you should continue doing this. And honestly, I really think it was like that moment that I'm like, yeah, you're right. And so the business didn't technically start back then, but like my love for art and the talent behind that and the work behind it too all started, I think, from there. Mm-hmm. And it's been with me like throughout all of my life. I think everything started to change a little bit when I discovered I could make some revenue off of it and just getting art into customers' hands per se. Mm-hmm. It was probably like, I want to say my senior year of high school, and I had a couple people reach out to me and do like a commission piece. And so they'd reach out to me, they'd give me like an image they were thinking of wanting drawn, and then I would go out and I would do it.
So they just came and found you, like they literally
it kind of just like fell into my lap at that point, and like I had no business plan, like nothing like that, and I'm like, yeah. And then at that point, I'm thinking, okay, how much do I charge?
Right.
You know, that was the big.
What do I do?
Right. No, exactly. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, I work at the pool as a lifeguard right now, and I get paid like $7.25 an hour. Like, maybe a little bit more than that would be good. I'll charge you $10 an hour. So, yeah, that's how it started. So just really loose. I guess the good thing about that price was it just attracted a lot of people because it really, really cheap.
Yeah.
I think for the quality that I was doing, like, again, really cheap. So
right.
I had a lot of, like, at the beginning, a lot of, like, traction. I had a lot of people approaching me in that sense. And then I decided to get connected with like Instagram and kind of promote my art through that. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of really where it started to take off.
Wow. So you like started your own channel and just started posting all of your work on there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And just keeping it updated. And honestly, doing that motivated me as an artist to just keep drawing, not only if it was like commission pieces, but I could draw things like for me, because that's of value to me, because every piece I draw, I get a little better. I learn a few things that I can apply to future projects or future customers when they approach me.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Wow. So then when did it kind of become like a business for you? So you're doing this, you post on Instagram. I know you did some work with t-shirts as well.
Yeah.
How did that all come to fruition?
So I'm just posting on Instagram and I'm finding a lot of traction there. And again, like no really business plan, it was just making money, period, right? Mm-hmm. That was just the goal. And I did that for a while. And then I left on my LDS mission for 2 years. So I kind of stepped away from that. And then upon coming back, I kind of had an idea to implement my art in maybe another way that would have more of like a business platform. Mm-hmm. And this is where what's called Home Waters comes into play. So it's a little company that I started. It's all about like fishing apparel, and it implements my art into it. So this is actually one of the t-shirts right here.
Yeah.
With just a simple like ink drawing, and then we just screen print it onto shirts. And it was something that was just in my head on my mission. I was thinking about, I'm like, I really want to do that when I get home. So that's what I started doing. And the funny thing is too, like I discovered as I started doing that, I was learning tons of business stuff that was then super valuable to me when I implemented it into my art. But then it felt like I was juggling two things instead of one. That part bothered me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I learned really fast is a business takes a lot of time and investment, not with like money, but time.
Yeah.
And so honestly, like I began to discover like how much a business takes, and honestly was taking away from my art of where it started.
Right.
So then I had to like sit back and I'm like, all right, I don't really like
Art, business,
yeah,
diverging.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasn't growing as an artist, and
Right.
that was honestly one of my main goals. And so I had to do a little bit of like reordering some things.
Mm-hmm.
Where now with Home Waters, I'm taking a little bit of more of a step back with that, just because I'm a little tighter financially. I just got married like a month ago, so that mixes into. Thank you.
That's awesome.
So now I'm kind of just doing art again per se. It's like my priority. I do still have like tons of product with Home Water, so I still need to sell that, of course, but kind of like shifting gears a little bit, just getting back to my roots
Yeah.
a little bit more.
That's fantastic. So how have you felt like you've changed as you've kind of gone through this process? Is it you feel like you'd be very much interested in going more the business road, or let other people handle that and you stick with the art? Trying to find that balance can be kind of a challenge, I know, as you're trying to increase revenue with any business. So I know as part of like the Home Waters, you reached out to different collaborators. How did you go about finding them, and how do you finally connect? What finally worked out?
Yeah, so it was all through Instagram. Like that's my main hub that I use like still to this day.
Wow.
And that's where you can find tons of people that are kind of interested in the same things that you were. And that's what I found for myself too. With Home Waters, I wanted it to have like a conservation aspect to it rather than just, hey, it's a cool shirt, here you go, right?
Yeah.
There's so many companies out there that do that sell t-shirts. And nowadays, like people are so drawn to a conservation aspect of a business. It's just another enticement for a customer, but it also like actually helps other people too, rather than just a gimmick or something like that.
I know you're super passionate about it too, so that I think helps like to grow, that for you.
Yeah, definitely. So it was cool to like hop into that as well. And I'm drawing tons of fish, right? And if I could make something that would actually give back to that in reality, like that made the difference for me.
Wow. So they just found you literally on Instagram, and then they just were like, hey, or did you have to actually go out and reach out to them through
So
Instagram?
it was more of that way, yeah.
Okay.
So I had been following this big, huge conservation group, and I had enjoyed their posts. Like it seemed pretty cool. It was stuff that I enjoyed, and I ended up just sent them an email, and I think at that point with Home Waters per se, it was like, I want to say we had like 100 followers on Instagram, like very small. Like the only sales I have made were like face-to-face sales of people that I knew. They knew I was starting it and stuff like that.
We're just getting going.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we were. And I mean, this conservation group's got like 25,000 people following it on their social media page. So I'm like teensy tiny compared to them. But I figured I would just send an email, because why not? So I sent him an email. And I said, hey, I want to tie like one of my shirts to your movement, and I want to have like a donation aspect to that. So every time someone purchases one of the shirts, we'll donate a percentage to you. And we'll also explain that to the customer as well, so they know kind of what they're doing. So it all of a sudden created like a feel-good aspect of, I'm doing more than just buying a shirt per se.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like that. And I ended up, I think like a couple days later, I actually got an email back from them, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. So it was really cool. Like it spiked a lot of attendance to my website, and like product was going out super fast.
It's like you caught the current and it
Yep.
went.
Yeah, and it just took me. Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So are t-shirts still available? Can people go and still
They
purchase
are,
them?
yeah. So I'm in the process of, again, shifting like priorities a little bit.
Yep.
I was running 2 websites actually at the time. So one was for my art, and then one was for Home Waters.
Yep.
It
Yeah,
was
no
just
wonder.
it was just this hard dilemma where I'm like, I really want to keep these things separate. I do, but I just don't have enough time to do that, and I feel like it's honestly taking away from both of them. So recently, what I've done with my Home Water stuff, I've kind of discontinued the website handle for now. It's kind of on hold until maybe I can pick it up one day. So what I'm doing with the remainder of the product is I'm tying it then to my Hunter Evans art
Cool.
website. So all the product is just like shifting over.
Yep.
So it's on one website.
Yep.
It's all there. It'll be a little bit easier for me to maintain for now. So,
Cool. You've done a beautiful job with these paintings. Hands, I know, are one of the more challenging ones, and you've done a beautiful
yeah,
job.
thank you.
there.
I appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So at this point, as you're transitioning over, are you doing more like commissioned works for that people would come to you and they would request, or how does that work?
Yeah, so that's the big draw. I think that's my number one thing where I get the most revenue from. So again, yeah, like people are reaching out to me per se. A funny thing that's happened when you step away from an Instagram page for 2 years and don't do anything to it, it's not good. So I get home from my mission and I like hop on my page. Maybe my first 2 posts do kind of okay, but then after that, like there's this massive like drop off to where
Right.
I have like around 1,000 followers, but I'm just getting like 16 likes on each post. So I'm like, man, what the heck? So it's something that you have to be attentive to.
Yep.
Which has been challenging. So rather than, honestly, nowadays people coming to me, it happens every once in a while, really nice when it happens. But a lot of the time, for me, per se, to get started, I'm actually reaching out to customers who have purchased in the past to see if they're interested with new things. I mean, it's been like 2 years, right? So I've had plenty of time to think about a new piece and just kind of see even if there's interest there. And that's kind of been the dilemma right now, is I'm kind of like hunting
for
for customers rather than flowing to me, which I would like that. That would be awesome. That's the hope.
I hope in the future it'll be more and more.
Yeah.
One of the things I know, I have a friend who's also an artist. He does a lot of scenic work, and he goes, he's doing gallery tours. Are you doing anything like that
I
yet?
haven't really tapped into that at all. I've heard about it a little bit.
Yeah.
I know they love their paintings, galleries do. Rarely do I see like drawings in them, which that's more of where I fit in.
Okay.
I use pencil, but maybe there's some hope there.
So if people want to get in touch with you, they should contact you at Hunter Evans Arts and
Yeah, hunterevansarts.com. That's where you can access the full website, where you can find all the art prints that I have available, and also all the extra Home Waters inventory will be there too, if they're still interested in that. And then on the website, it'll have various ways to contact me too. So
Cool. Well, Hunter, it's been a pleasure.
yeah, thank you, Damien. I appreciate it.
Good luck.
Thanks.